Saturday, Bournemouth will be desperate for 3 points against Brentford. Alas, there's a slight problem with that because we've never beaten them in the Premier League. We've entered the final 10 and Cherries currently sit 9th in a congested top half of the table, but a win could put us as high as 6th. Welcome to the Big Match Preview. My name's Sam Davis.
My name's Tom Jordan.
This is Back of the Net. We're an AFC Bournemouth fan channel. Tom, in terms of a game to get your league form back on track, Brentford, based on our recent history, is probably not the one we want, eh?
Yeah, it's a weird one with Brentford, isn't it? Because away from home, everyone always says how good Brentford are at home, but then at home we never beat them anyway. So yeah, it's a weird one. We've had some success kind of back away, kind of Championship, League One even, and lower, but in the Prem, they seem to be a little bit of a bogey team. As were Wolves at home, which I know technically we drew, but we beat them on penalties, so we've swatted that one aside. And listen, we never beat Manchester City. We never, there was loads of different bits and bobs. So, yeah, I'm confident we're playing pretty well. They're consistently inconsistent, I would say, Brentford. In a sense that you think, they're coming and then they drop off, and then you think, could they get sucked in? No, they're right. But a win for them, I said to you off air, a win for them puts them in the mix, in my opinion. So, big game.
It's going to be an interesting one. It's live on Sky at 5:30. Hopefully, it'll be another entertaining one for people watching on the box, like the game last weekend, where Boscombe somehow conspired to lead a London side only to let them back in. And you know what? The last time we went to Brentford, we did that as well. We took the lead through Evan Nilsson. I think it was a bit of a short back pass, wasn't it? Yeah, around the keeper. And then Wissa scored. I think there was some debate. Bournemouth fans weren't happy with it. We never are when any team scores against us anyway. Then Justin Cliver at our end. Yeah, corner routine.
I missed that.
2-1, Wissa again. We were looking at Kepa. It was like, he snuck it in at the near post.
Yes,
and we were like, was that his fault or not? And then Damsgaard. But either way, that was a loss at the G-Tech, like it always is for AFC Bournemouth. But the last time at home, that was also a loss as well. End of the season, wasn't it?
Yeah, I remember. You actually said to me, I won't claim it, that Solanke got a goal, but he actually scored a hat-trick in that game, but two were disallowed. One I remember with a Semenyo handball for sure, the first half. But the goals were they took the lead on 86.
Yeah.
We equalised on 89 and they won it on 95. It was a mad game, but it was one of them games where neither team were playing for anything. Yeah. And it was quite a fun game. It was a shame that we didn't get that win there just to get that monkey off our back, but we'll do it this time.
And that was his last goal for AFC Bournemouth. Sad days. Although we saw him playing in America. I don't know if you've ever mentioned that on the channel before.
That was his last goal though, yeah.
Late goals is definitely the thing, especially this season. Bournemouth have scored more goals in second half stoppage time than any other side in the Premier League. A lot of them came at Everton, I'm sure, whilst only Aston Villa have actually conceded more than Brentford. So what I'm calling, mate, is a 1-0 win and then a 92nd minute winner for, I don't know, Lewis Kirk. There we go.
Why did you say? I was literally waiting for you to say, for the Jebbo. It's time that it's got to happen at some point, I'm telling you.
But look, of course, they did beat us at the end of last season. Yeah. But despite that win, that was Thomas Frank's worst season for the Bees, where they finished in 16th place with 39 points.
And look, it's that low.
So this season, when it all started, their away form was absolutely abysmal, losing all the first 5 games up to our away game at Brentford. We're going to check out the home table and the away table so far then, Tom. And this makes me feel a little bit better for, although they're a bogey side, home table where we're middle diddle, away, they're not so good. Of course, contributed by their poor start, but they're 15th.
And that's obviously a good thing for this game. But equally, I don't think people realise that we're so much better away. But I think people just assume, that's good, we're at home.
Yeah.
We're 4th away.
Yeah.
So we're better away as well. I think there's probably a little bit too much on it sometimes. You think, yes, we're at home. We've got more chance because we're at home. I think, but we're better away.
You're saying that stats are irrelevant for a guy that researches the referee and sees what results we had previously under that referee. It all counts, I'm telling you now. I wonder who the referee is. I'll give you a question on that later as well. But here's the league table as it stands then. And when I said it was congested at the start, I mean it. I mean, we're now at the kind of bottom end of that group of clubs. I mean, you could argue that Fulham are, of course, in the mix, being only 2 points beneath us. But you can see how quickly a couple of wins can propel you up the table. Equally, as we found out to our cost, what a couple of losses can do for us as well. But Bournemouth's form is shown there in the coloured blocks at the end. Haven't won in 3. Brentford, well, they've won, drawn and lost their last 3. And as we go into the form table, this just shows where we're at. Brentford are 7th in the league form table. Bournemouth are 14th. I think this match, Tom, is important for a few reasons. One, recovering the points. Andoni Iraola always talks about that. Momentum in the league, which of course we need. Momentum ahead of a quite big quarter-final against Manchester City in the Cup as well.
Yeah, no, exactly, mate. All them things put together. It's a really big football match. And I'll also add to that I think Brentford fans that are watching will probably be thinking the same. Well, if they beat us, they're suddenly, we don't want to get another team in the pack.
Yeah.
Palace feel like they've come out of nowhere. We don't want to add Brentford to come. But the form table. I mean, obviously it's all in context. I mean, we should beat Tottenham, obviously, but it's still a away game at Tottenham, which is difficult. And obviously Liverpool are in that kind of form in terms of the teams we've played. But what's funny there is just looking at our form table is we're obviously having, probably people say we're having like the most surprising season along with Nottingham Forest, and we're both exactly the same. We're 14th and 15th in the form table. It's like we're just following each other. So weird at the moment, but they're not in unbelievable form, Brentford, but they're definitely picking up a little bit. So it's definitely going to be a difficult game. I always think Brentford's a difficult game, but I don't know. I fancy us to know, like you said and Andoni said, no, we need to recover some points.
One of the worrying stats is that since the start of February, only the current bottom 3 sides have earned fewer points than the Cherries, which is absolutely mad. 4 since the start of Feb. But this is the weekend where it's going to change, right? I'm sure it is. We're at the home of AFC Bournemouth fans on a match day. It's the Queen's Park, of course, and we are in the courtroom. It's an ideal place to spend the afternoon before the game on Saturday. You can see all the scores coming in on Final Score before getting off to Dean Court for the big game. And of course, as you know, on a Sunday, it's home of the £10 roast.
9.
Because he's got a season ticket. That's not bad value, is it? But it's also the chance to win money in the raffle this week. First prize, £100. Second prize, £50.
Lovely.
And that's just through buying a drink. So when you buy a drink, keep your raffle ticket that you get given, because you'll be getting, if you have 3 pints, that's 3 raffle tickets. Come back after the game, and then 2 prizes will be drawn out of the hat. If you're there, you claim the cash. If you're not, it will roll over until the next one. And look, this is the fans room, isn't it? The courtroom.
It is,
so it's available for hire. They just have to be a subscriber, right?
Yeah, as long as you're a subscriber to the channel, then you can hire this room out for anything you want, really. Any sort of like kind of event and kind of get together with people. It's a nice place. A lovely, lovely room. And it's just Bournemouth everywhere. So come on, just click subscribe, and then you can use it.
Let's check out the recent results for Brentford then. We'll start, Tom, say, from the start of February.
Cool.
And they had Spurs at home, and it wasn't a good day for them.
No, I mean, I don't see how anyone loses to Spurs. This is the first season we've never lost to them, I think. But yeah, 2-0 defeat. A bit of a surprise, though, with them being at home and Tottenham, obviously, having the season they're having. But they bounced back. Good win at West Ham. Tricky game, West Ham away. Absolutely battered Leicester, which we can't say much about because, we're the only team they've kept a clean sheet against all season, Leicester, 1-0. But that was Cooper's Leicester, not Van Nistelrooy's. But good win there. I was a little bit surprised they drew with Everton, but I don't know, Everton are one of them sides that can, they are on the turn a little bit. The Villa game actually annoyed me, the last game, because we were obviously, in a little bit of a dip, and we went, that's a really tough game for Villa to go to Brentford. I don't see them winning there, which obviously would have been good for us. Yeah. And Villa got the lead and probably deserves to get the lead, but then Brentford, they didn't score. I was watching it and they were peppering them. Could have had a penalty potentially as well. So Brentford were unlucky. So after watching that game, and Villa are a very good side, obviously we know that because they're in the quarterfinals of the Champions League. But I looked at Brentford when they went a goal behind and thought, they are a dangerous side. On another day they would have scored. They were very, very unlucky, and they've got some good players. So that did make me think, okay, they're a good outfit and then cause problems.
We've got a head-to-head record on screen. If you're watching YouTube, we've sort of wound back the last 15 years or so because we could go a long, long way with Brentford. However, we've played them in every division there is. 5 times in the Premier League. The worrying stat is that Bournemouth are winless in their last 8 league matches against Brentford. Can you remember the last league win, not including the playoffs?
Oh, I wanted you to include that because I would have gone. Not many people were there because I was there, but was it one where you couldn't have a whole? Was it no? There was no away fans, was there? I was trying to remember if you had the full allocation because it was COVID, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's right.
But that was one of the only times you could see. Was it the only time Woodgate's Bournemouth played at Bournemouth?
Yeah.
So Dan Juma 1-0.
Yeah.
Went to about the second leg. I honestly can't. When did we beat them?
2014, start of that season.
So that would be champ.
Yeah, so the promotion season, we played them early doors, we beat them 1-0.
Honestly can't remember it. Can you?
Tom, I'm actually disappointed in
I
you.
honestly can't remember that game.
I want to say like 1-0 late on Brentford. Was it like
1-0 late on, was it? It's probably Callum or someone, was it?
Yeah, it must have been Callum.
Probably. I honestly can't remember that game at all, mate. Because I know they beat us at their place, didn't they, in that promotion season? Because I remember Iraola got sent off when he wasn't even in the squad because he was suspended.
Yeah,
he had a go. Do you remember he had a go at the? I think Tyndall and that all had a go. But yeah, they've always been a bit of a bogey side for sure. But yeah, we've played them so much over the years. Just a shame of our Prem record, really.
Yeah, that's right. So, of course, Brentford unbeaten, both with 5 unbeaten, both their most games without ever losing, and Bournemouth's most games without ever winning against any opponent in the competition. In our league games at home against Brentford, we got a good record, won 26, drawn 12, lost 15. But in all, won 34, lost 44 and drawn 34. So, look, how's this game going to go then, mate? Because Thomas Frank seems to have our number, and he's, as much as he annoys us at times, he's done a bloody good job there, hasn't he? Really good job.
Brilliant job, yeah. And he's one that, Brentford fans won't like me saying it, but you could equally say the same to us with Andoni. You do wonder if he'll ever get that.
Yeah.
Maybe step up. You look at, we say step up. I mean, I'm talking about teams like Tottenham and, West Ham, teams like that. But you do wonder because he's been there a long time. But he's done a brilliant job. And I would say that, especially now Tony's gone, who, because of his arrogance, you felt like they had a big player, if you know what I mean. I don't actually think he was a massive player, but they never had like a superstar, but they've always got a good team. And we're probably similar to us.
Yeah.
And Buemo's so underrated. I don't know how they've managed to keep him without any sort of murmurings of him going. Yeah. This is obviously a top player as well. And even like Damsgaard, I think he's got the most assists in the league. Yeah,
he has. He's got the second, joint second for assists. Only Mo Salah's got more with 17. So, get Mo out the window. But he's had 10. And like you say, you're right player to point out Wissa and Buemo, 13 and 15 goals respectively, which is healthy numbers.
Oh, and Buemo's been an absolute dream for me on fantasy football because he's down as a midfielder. And I captained him against Southampton and he got 2. Like, legend. But yeah, he's class. And yeah, like Damsgaard kind of come in, it wasn't really happening for him. And then this season, he's really stepped up. I always remember his worldie against England for Denmark. Do you remember that? He's a bloody good player, and he's one that like picks them pockets, and he's hard to pick up. So he's one. I think Buemo's an obvious one, but I think Damsgaard as well. And they've always got a back four that just seem hard to break down. Always, whoever they play there. So I remember when they used to have like Ben Mee and people like that. Right. But even now, some of that I've always felt Pinnock was underrated, for example, at the back. So. Yeah, they're a sturdy bunch and they're a difficult team to break down, but they always have a threat with pace on the break. So there's probably a lot of similarities in the two sides. Both sides are very workmanlike, very energetic, get around the pitch, cover a lot of ground, etc. But and 2 good coaches, so it should be a really even game. I think a lot of people will be saying, "Oh, this is a tough one to predict."
On to the team news then, and look, we know something, and that's that Ilya Zabani is going to be back after his 3-match suspension, a key player for us. So it should see the dreamy central defence partnership of Howson and Ilya back together, although that will be broken up one game later in the FA Cup, of course. But we are recording before Andoni's presser, so there's no other news regarding injuries. I suppose it's all about the management, isn't it? And Christie is a big part of that. And I just wonder how your team selection will be later on, because hasn't he been called up by Scotland?
Yeah, I can't believe that. I do wonder if we say, he's actually picked up a niggle. We don't need to, why would he want to go to Scotland and play on the wing?
Have we got a record of ever doing that?
No, never do that. But yeah, Ryan's one that we're obviously monitoring. He obviously started in the last game. I do wonder if maybe ahead of it, what's one that might help us is that there's a week off next week anyway. Yeah. But I'm just thinking if they can, you'd want Chris in the squad, but they might look at this, and I'll come to it on the team news obviously, because I think there's a more of a reason to be able to do so. Okay. Is you want him for City because of the players we've already got out.
Yes, absolutely.
And I just think if he's still obviously like he is carrying something, you can go bench against Brentford. You're there if we need you, but ideal world, we don't need you. You get a few weeks off until your next game to recover, potentially if you don't go to Scotland. So loads of different bits. We don't know how close Iraola is, for example, as well. Yeah. So that might play into it. But I don't think, even though him and Celestia in particular are kind of getting closer, I don't expect to see either of them at the weekend. Obviously, we know about Unal being out. And Smithy seems like he's still a little bit away. So, yeah, we're in a much better place than we have been. I think we virtually... like one youth player on the bench at the moment. You know, when we were literally having a full bench of youth players. So definitely picking up. And I think they're getting a little bit better as well. I think there's a few players like Hickey and Henry that are trying to come back, but after long-term injuries. But and I'm not sure about Carvalho as well. I think he's had a knock. Looking at them, so they've had a few knocks. But I'd say if you look at their best 11. I don't think there's many from that are out. It's more their squad. A bit like what we had, to be fair. So they've got a few missing, but not like the Embuemos, the Visses, the Damsgaard, the Janelt, the Jensens, you know, the kind of first team.
The referee for this game is Craig Pawson. Hopefully he won't have a Pawson game. He has had us twice this season, though, Tom.
Come on, tell me the record.
I'll give you a clue. The aggregate score of the 2 games that he's reffed has been 8-0 to Bournemouth.
Well, no.
So that's a good stat, right? Which game?
We haven't had a 4-0, so it must be... Forest was 5.
Yeah.
So then a 3. Man United away.
There he goes.
Oh, I'll tell you that.
You're
Take
on it.
that,
So,
baby.
Craig Pawson is going to be the one to officiate this. By the way, can I just talk about how good I thought the referees in the Champions League are compared to what we have week in, week out? I was watching the Liverpool game on the Tuesday and then the Madrid derby on the Wednesday, and they just let it flow.
Yeah, until VAR got involved in the penalty shootout.
Apart from that. But I thought it was just a joy to watch, like real physical, you know, and up-tempo football that just flowed. They just let it carry on.
Yeah, they do seem to. And I don't know what it is. There seems to be like more of an authoritative kind of feel to it. I can't remember who it was, but a player like went and, you know, remonstrated with the ref at one point, and he just stares, and they're like, oh, like they kind of feel a little bit more, like they've got a little bit more power. I don't know, but it does always feel a little bit like that, doesn't it? But I mean, the last one I watched, they just managed to get involved in a shootout, didn't they?
Yeah.
Just had to ruin it a little bit and turn it into science again. But benefit Real Madrid, funnily enough.
Yeah, weird that. Right, let's do a play for both then. We've got 11 players in roughly the positions that they would be playing for, so Brentford and Bournemouth. And I've tried to mix it up this time compared to the last one. So let's go.
I forgot about it because I was going to go David Button and goal, as usual. But you've gone JG, which I just remembered as Jimmy Glass.
Correct. Correct.
God, here we got the back here, Jesus. I know you've done him. I hate that I know who NY is, because he never actually kicked the ball for us, did he?
No.
He was on loan from Arsenal, Nico Yanaris. Why do I know that? I literally need to get out more.
You do.
How do I know that? He never played. Yeah. And I know that you've done Denny Mundy at centre back.
I have done it because he's a bit of a utility player.
Yes.
He can play anywhere. He probably played there at some point.
Chris Mappen.
Correct. Chris Mappen. Correct.
Nathan Byrne.
Yeah, now RF played 2 games in his career on the left side, but it's all I could do.
Okay. Ryan Fredericks.
Correct.
Emi Marcondes.
Yes.
KH.
Come on.
Who's SC as well? Bloody hell. It's not Claridge, is it?
Yeah, I've put him in the 10.
Steve Claridge again.
He plays everywhere.
KH. Have you got any clues for KH? Well, I've seen him always before my time.
Cherries Red Army.
He's not a centre midfield player, Sam.
I've put him there.
Kirk Hudson. TF and EE sounds. Is it Efenakogu? Did he play for him? I didn't know that. It's just the EE.
Yeah.
TF.
I'm sure you'll be able to forecast this one quite well.
Tony Funnell.
Well done.
Well done. You've done well there, because there's a few I was thinking.
Oh no, I could have done some real obvious ones.
Yeah, I was thinking well, Alan Connell was going to be in there, for example, because I know he played there. But Tony Funnell.
You know, Lewis Graben.
Oh yeah, Grabenman.
A few more.
Yeah.
Steve Jones, I think, also played for Brentford as well. Yeah.
You have to let us know if you can think of any obscure ones in the chat.
Yeah, let us know in the comments.
Actually, no, I'll let other people do it. So I said David Button, Jimmy Glass. I think there's another goalkeeper.
Who? Oh, yes, that's right. I was going to do that.
Yeah.
Yes, you're right.
Underrated keeper he was.
Let's check out Matt's stats then. He's taken a look at the last 4 games for Brentford. 2 at home, that's at Everton and Villa, but also 2 away, West Ham and Leicester. Brentford gained 7 points from them, which appears to be what they deserved. Brentford have scored 6 goals and conceded 2, with their XG estimating 5.49 and 4.02 respectively. So the scorelines maybe have slightly flattered Brentford. The average positions of the starting lineups from the last 4 games are being shown on YouTube. Hard to sort of read into, really, but they haven't played a top half team away in the last 4 games. So West Ham away, Leicester away, Everton at home, Aston Villa at home. Read into that what you will. I think it's going to be an entertaining game nonetheless. I would hope that we could peg them back a little bit more, but we know how they can be dangerous on the counter-attack. Also, goal attempts are slightly in AFCB's favour when you work it out per game, and we've had more big chances too, but the goals scored there are equal. Finally, Brentford have had a marginally better possession percentage and a higher pass completion rate as well. Lower proportion of chances from open play, as they're a team that are effective at set plays. They also concede a lower proportion of chances from set plays as well. So how does this bode for the game? Well, we need to know the teams first, right? Let's go. Tom, you got your teams here then in a 4-2-3-1. What we got? Talk me through it.
Yeah, I'm trying to mix it up a little bit, thinking about which
Man
is
City.
Yeah, but we have got a week off, so it's not like, it's more thinking about obviously, like we've mentioned, some of the players that have been out and are carrying stuff, etc., etc. And you've also got to think, there's players that can't play against City, blah, 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 blah. Kepa will obviously be in goal.
Yeah.
But as I'll come on to with the Ryan Christie thing that we spoke about, you'll see why I've put James Hill at right back.
Right, okay.
I think he's been really good at right back, and I don't think he also has been good at centre back, and probably feels like he doesn't deserve to be dropped. It's a chance to put in there because you can play Zabani and Houghton, and Hill will have to come back into centre half, you would assume, when Houghton's at the City game. So I'm going to go Hill right back, Zabani and Houghton, and then obviously Kirk as a left back.
Did Hill start right back against Wolves in the league?
Oh, he might have,
because I remember I was talking about the Cunha matchup.
Yes, he might have.
Is that right?
He might have. I'm not 100% sure, but the reason I've done that for this game is because obviously Lewis Cook will have to play right back in the cut. This gives us a chance, which is rare at the moment, to be able to play Cook and Adams. Yeah. Give that a go, just in case something were to happen to Christie in the future.
Yeah.
And also the fact that this allows you to put Christie on the bench because you've got Hill as an option. We haven't had any right back options, have we? Because as soon as Hill was available at right back, you had to play centre back.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go Cook and Adams and just see if Cook can do that, because I'm not convinced at the moment that Scott's is natural, obviously doing the Christie role, which no one really is. Can Cook get around it a little bit more?
I think he can. He can get forward and get a header on goal.
He can indeed. And potentially, then you've got Scott and Christie available on the bench. So I'm going to go with them two. I'm going to stick with Tav because I thought he played really well in the last game. So I'm going to stick with him on the right. I am going to stick with Semenyo. But it wouldn't shock me if he's actually left out for a game, because he's dropped a little bit, and I think it's because of the amount of minutes he's played. But I think we'll try and start him and take him off. Yeah. And as I say again, we have got a week, off this. I mean, he probably play for Ghana, but it'll be a lot less, intense, you would have thought. Clive would definitely start the 10, and as long as he's still coming through it all right, we'll start with Evan Nilsson up top again, mate. So, yeah, I like the look of that team, and I also know that gives us a lot of options on the bench as well. Obviously, Dang. The reason I'm probably not saying as much Dango, because he's never really done anything to be dropped. Not that I think he has been dropped, just rotated. I do think that a lot of people say Ramadan as well. I think is probably a reason for that as well. So, I think he'll be on the bench.
And if he does play, would it be stopped? Because it happens at sunset, doesn't it?
Yeah,
so
I think
the game might.
Oh, because of our kick-off time.
Yeah,
that's a good point. Maybe. Yeah, that's a good point.
As for Brentford, then, what are we going for?
Yeah, it's a 4-2-3-1, pretty similar to us. Yeah. I feel like at the moment, as I kind of mentioned, they've got a lot of their squad players injured, but their first team there's a few they could change, but I'm pretty confident with this one, actually. Flecken will be in goal.
Yeah.
Aja, I always forget which one he put out at. But he's doing quite a good job at right back. He's normally a centre back as well, so it'll be similar to Hill if that happens. Collins and Pinnock at centre back. And Lewis Potter, by the way, who he's a winger, really, and a striker. He's been unbelievable at left back this season. I think he's got a shout to be looking at England at some point.
Was Collins suspended recently? Because obviously I saw him make a challenge which was pretty bad.
No, he made, the Zabani challenge that, you remember he got straight red because he went over the ball but his studs were up. Yeah. Straight red card. Went to VAR after a yellow. Yeah. Collins got a yellow, went to VAR and stayed as a yellow.
Ridiculous. And by the way, when I was typing out these teams, I noticed, I don't know if it's Brentford have got, if it's in their policy to do this. They've got so many double-lettered players. Flecken, Collins, Lewis Potter. There are others that we're going to mention as well. Yeah. Too many. Yeah,
so Norgard in midfield. There's another one, double A. Norgard I think, and this is the other one. I'm going to go Janelt. Right. It could comfortably be Jensen as well.
Oh, right, okay.
They rotate quite a bit. I'm going to go with Norgard and Janelt. Damsgaard, another 1-2-8. Yeah. Kind of in that 10 role. Sharda, who's actually probably going under the radar a little bit.
Smooth operator, yeah.
He will. Because they move this right up front in the Tony. So Sharda's kind of almost replaced Tony in a weird way, and he's been quite good. And Buemo, off the right hand side for sure. And Visser, another one, double S, to be leading the line. So yeah, I'm pretty confident with that one. I'm probably more confident with Brentford than Bournemouth, but let me know, Brentford, if I've got it wrong.
Let us know in the comments down below what your predictions are. We're interested to know exactly what you think is going to happen. Tom, what do you think?
Yeah, a bit nervous about this one.
I know. But when I feel nervous, then usually good things happen.
Yeah, I remember I always say this to you, the most confident I've ever seen you was Leicester away. And I remember Everton away, you go, oh, I don't fancy this. It was like unbelievable away day. So yeah, I've been doing all right lately. I was so close when I in the Tottenham one. I said we'd have too much. I think we'll edge it. That's what I'm hoping. I do think that we'll get over the line. I think
They're always in games, aren't
yeah,
they?
I think it'll be a tight game. But, we've never beaten them in the Premier League. But it's time. It's time. I'm going to go 2-1 Bournemouth. Yeah. I'm going to go Semenyo and Evan-Nilsson in a 2-1 win. What about you?
2-0, because I think our defensive rock, Zabani being back, and Howson, they just dovetail so well. I think we'll be defensively resolute, and I think we'll have the attacking impetus
I fancy El Marino as well.
2-0, and that would be El Marino. So that's what I'm going for. What are you going for? Look, whether you're going to the game or you're not, you can keep abreast on what is going on by doing a couple of things for this channel. Yeah, if you click the bell, you'll see when all the videos are out. Make sure you like it as well, because that does good stuff. And if you click the subscribe button, that's the one that we really want you to do. So make sure you do. Thank you very much. And if you're listening, you can leave a review for our pod. We would totally appreciate it. So looking forward to seeing you either in the pub or in and around Dean Court. If not, come on fan cams, because we'd like to see you and get your post-match opinions on there too. Up the chairs. See you Saturday. Come on.
Somebody, Aaron Hickey, AA.
Oh yeah.
There's got to be more, wouldn't there? I'm going to have a look at that.